Well, everyone, it had to come at some point, so better late than never. I've been talking so much about the Nintendo Switch Lite, mostly because a lot of people still want to hear about the Nintendo Switch Lite. So let's go and see how it holds up in mid-2020. Now, not a lot has changed too crazy or too drastically, but something actually has interestingly changed in terms of the availability of it, and that's probably the biggest change that's happened. And what's crazy about that is, because we're on quarantine, we're all inside, a lot of people wanted to go and pick up not only the Switch Lite, but the original Nintendo Switch as well. And for some reason, all of them are being sold out everywhere. Locally, that I can't get any. Online, they're super hard to come by. And if you do come by some, which, they're still available for sure, they're just way overpriced. It's just like you can pick them up for $300, $200 for the Switch Lite, and in the used market they're selling for quite a bit of money, which is a really, really annoying thing. I don't know why they constantly have to go and do these things, and it's not Nintendo's fault. It's just the resellers. They see a demand and they take advantage of it, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's supply and demand, but it's kind of annoying for the end consumer. Luckily, I already have them, but for the people who don't, I can tell you this, it's worth waiting. There's really no reason to, and for those of you who don't have one, hopefully I can fill in that void with this video. But the console still feels exactly the same. Luckily for me, I have not had any issues with my Nintendo Switch Lite, which is a really good thing. I usually only use my main Switch, my original one, but I still use my Nintendo Switch Lite sometimes at varying occasions. Like if I'm really, really on a pinch and I have to go somewhere, sometimes I take it to me if I'm in that case, other case, but it's even at that, it's not really a big deal for me. I don't really have a reason to use my original Switch over this one really by any means. It just so happens that all my games are on my regular Switch. It just happens that all my games are on my regular Switch, so I just go with that. So I just use that all the time. But with the Switch Lite, I have had no joystick issues or anything like that. And if you've seen my last video I did, which is like my number one video right now for the last week and a half, I talked about really the biggest problem with the Nintendo Switch Lite and why you probably shouldn't want to pick one up based on everyone's feedback. It's not just my opinion. It's like almost the biggest complaint about the Switch Lite, which is the joysticks of it. And I think that's a valid argument. I think that's honestly one of the most annoying things about the Switch lineup for everyone is the joystick issue. It's a humongous issue. I don't know why Nintendo hasn't fixed this yet for the amount of people that use a Nintendo Switch. Even Xbox consoles, PS4s have it too with their controllers too. Sometimes they do drift, they stop working, things like that. And I just find that really, really annoying. Hopefully at some point with the next version of Switches, hopefully Nintendo does fix this, because it's a really, really big issue. That's a really big deal. And it's a really weird thing that they go and, release these consoles and everything and they can't even fix that. So hopefully they do fix it with the next iteration of Switches. And like I said, that is probably the biggest complaint that I've seen from not only myself, but from everyone talking about the Switch. My original Switch had that issue with their original Joy-Cons, but with the Switch Lite, you can't fix it. It's just stuck there. You can take apart the Nintendo Switch and fix it that way, but you're probably better off just buying a new Switch at that point, to be honest. So that's really the biggest issue with the Switch Lite, but again, hopefully Nintendo will address it with the next version of Switches. Now when it comes down to the battery life, it's still almost pretty much the same. It's still pretty good for the most part. I haven't really complained about it too much, and a lot of people I know haven't really complained about it either, which is a really good thing. It's pretty decent. I'll say it's kind of on par with the original Switch. Maybe it's a little bit better, but because it doesn't have to go and continuously charge those Joy-Cons, I think that also helps out with the battery life as well. You still have all those cool features that the original Switch has, which is amazing. And really the main thing I wanted to hit on was the pricing structure. At least that's what I've been hitting on all my mid-2020 reviews, or even mid-2019 reviews on all those phones. But the price of this thing has actually gone up, which is insane. These things are selling for about, like I said, $300. These things are selling for how the original Switch sells for, which is crazy. So, you're probably better off just waiting, in my opinion. Of course, if you do have all the money in the world to spend on everything, you can pick up a Switch Lite. I'm not stopping you, but at that point, you're probably better off picking up the original Switch, in my opinion. But I still think the Switch has a lot going for it. I think it's a really cool little console, and I like it a lot. And even in mid-2020, it's still completely worth it. Nothing has changed about it that's making it a bad pickup, but just some things have changed about it that really have no control over Nintendo or anything like that. So that's really pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel, all those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys would check it out. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.